our podcast.
Here we go.
And go. For real this time.
Hi, Carlene. How you doing?
Hi, Alma. With these giant glasses of wine, are you going to be Eva or Alma?
Maybe I should take a picture of this. 'Cause
Yeah.
I've only had like a few sips.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. We were going
I got to make that chime better. Here. Ready? When the bell tolls.
We're weird.
We're so weird. We're so silly. We are so silly. You would think that we've pre-gamed.
And we haven't. But we did pre-burrito.
We don't.
So if you hear anything, it's not a fart.
Oh, yes, it is. It's the dogs.
It's the ghost of the burrito.
It might be. That's the dogs. Was that an EVP? No, it was Alma's ass. She is really going at that paw.
She gets like that when she starts grooming. Sometimes she just
goes for it.
Yeah.
Well, I saw her with the dog's ass today.
Oh my God.
She's really digging for
I think we've talked about this before, but yeah.
we have the most. Maybe our podcast should just be about 15-year-old boys talking about dog butts and farting and
licking the microphone.
I mean, I could tell you about how my cat pooped today.
But you already did.
I already told you. It was disgusting.
The interesting things we talk about before we even start, we try to get it out of our system, but it still spills into the podcast.
Yeah. Well, we still feel the need to, oh, but wait, there's more. We're so gross. We're like 15-year-old boys.
Sometimes.
Why do we say like 15-year-old boys? Because girls are pretty disgusting
exactly.
Too.
I was, Yeah. I was that 15-year-old girl that never grew up.
I still am. Clearly. That's why we mesh so well. Anyway.
As y'all listen to me slurping.
We just need a straw with this.
I know. So we have these giant wine glasses that Bianca gave us. And I just pour the whole bottle of wine in both glasses.
Yeah.
It saves us trouble, so we don't have to be reaching across and refilling.
And go.
Yeah.
And it is berry-licious.
Oh my God, it is really good. Okay, so what are we drinking today? We are drinking Yellowtail Big Bold Red, crafted by the Casella family. It doesn't say like what year or anything.
I'm going to venture to say it's probably 2020 or 21. Yeah. But
ooh, that was me. That wasn't my butt. My butt doesn't have that much bass.
Her butt farts bass. Mine's a tenor. Want to hear my vibrato?
It says big and bold, jammed with lush dark fruits, spice, and a touch of vanilla. It's good.
You definitely can taste like a blackberry. I taste some cherry in there.
It's 13.5%, so buckle up.
Oh, damn. Good thing we ate a burrito. I think we're going to make the dogs sick tonight.
We might.
They're going to be like, stupid fucking humans. All they do is fart.
You know, and they're like, their noses are so much more sensitive than ours are. So imagine what that is.
Yeah, but if we fart, they just want to clean our butthole.
They're like, what did you eat today?
Your glands need some cleaning. Did you shit yourself? Here, let me clean that.
I can't with you. Oh my God.
Nope.
Let's hope it doesn't come to that.
Look at Shorty.
She's
like,
at
did you? Did you?
Do you need me to clean you?
Yeah. I'll
waiting.
lick your butthole. It's my favorite thing.
She totally would. She would. So when you were watching them, did you notice that when you get out of the shower and you put lotion on, they want to lick all the lotion off your
Shadow
lips?
does that too.
Really?
Yeah. So I'm used to it because as soon as I put oil on me, and then whenever I go in my room, she's just like,
oh yeah,
lick
especially
crazy.
if I do like coconut oil or something. But I do cocoa butter.
They go crazy.
They
for
go
cocoa
crazy
butter.
for it. Yeah.
Crazy for cocoa butter.
Did you hear?
Yeah, she's like, cocoa butter. Crazy for cocoa butter.
So you want to talk about why? Well, let's talk about other stuff first before. Well, but I did want to talk about why we're drinking Australian wine.
Let's do it.
Because Carlene found this very interesting story.
Well, it was going one way, but then it went in another. And then another.
And then another.
Yeah. Because I found at first I thought it was a cool ass story, the actual story that I first found. But then this actually turned to be the cooler story because we don't know how much truth is in that other story that we'll talk about.
Yeah, but
and
we'll
you
talk
guys
about
can
it
let
anyway.
us know.
Yeah, you guys decide what.
We're going to put it out there.
Yeah.
You guys can go watch it and figure it out. But I watched some more stuff on it today. Mm-hmm. Just out of curiosity.
Did you?
More I dig, the more I'm like, it's disappointing. The conspiracy of it all is interesting. We'll talk about it. Do we have you guys like on the edge of your seat now? Are you like, oh my God, I cannot wait to listen to this podcast?
They've gone in the other room.
What are they talking about? Because we were talking about farting and licking buttholes?
Yeah, they went to go get the Lysol. They went to go light a candle just in case it comes
They're
through
like,
the...
let me go get my 3-year-old. They'll laugh at this podcast.
Anyways.
Okay, guys, take a drink out of your sippy cup every time they say butthole. Let's make a drinking game.
They're going to be chocolate drunk.
I think every time we say, that's on EVP, apparently, bunhole.
I have goosebumps.
I have goosebumps. Did you just fart?
Was that you or the dog?
Drink. That's the game. All right. Anyway.
How was your week? Have you watched anything interesting besides all this stuff?
I have been watching with Allie. It's on Netflix.
You know, like how often when I'm editing and you're like saying things over and over to yourself.
It don't sound right. It's mystery something. It's kind of scary and weird and shit. Now I have to find it. It might be on Hulu, but I think it's Netflix.
Is it a documentary or
it's a show. Mm-hmm. And there's like a priest and
Midnight Mass?
Yes, is that it?
We just finished it.
Where like they get, I don't even want to give it away in case people.
I know, because it's brand new.
Yeah, like
it's pretty
dark
good.
angels are involved. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and I thought about our
dark angels. Yeah. Oh my God, me too.
When especially, timing. Did you watch the whole thing?
Not yet. I'm in the middle of it.
Okay, so there's this part in the last episode. You'll know it when you see it. It's in the church, and that thing appears in the church, completely frocked in like a priest's robe.
well, okay, because it was wearing the priest's clothing.
Yeah.
Like the hat and everything, and that's what made me think of that.
Right.
Our last story.
Yeah.
Yes, you too.
How far along are you in it?
God, I want to say we have 2 left.
Okay. You're almost there.
I know
it's really good. It's
so
really good. It like slowly it's one of those.
It's not so scary where you're like, oh, I don't want to watch this,
but it does have those little jumps. Moments.
Yes. If you're familiar with what is that haunted Hill House or whatever, it's the same person, right, who did that?
That directed it, yeah.
Yeah, and so I keep looking in the background looking for little, what is it, egg, whatever they do?
Easter eggs.
Yeah, because when we went back and looked at the Hill House, there's so many, and I'm like, how did we miss that?
Right.
So anyway, it's that kind. I will not watch it by myself. That's
No.
all. No, I mean, I make sure I watch it with Allie. I'm not watching it by myself.
Really?
Like, I'm not going to go home tonight by myself in an empty house.
I say that so easily because I have my husband
Yeah.
sitting there watching it with me. But
Right.
yeah, I might not.
No.
Would I watch it I might not, because I wouldn't have anybody to like lean up against.
No. No. I'm not watching that.
But it is really good.
It is good.
I was
going to
ask
so
you.
Scary that it's like where you couldn't watch it by yourself. It's just I'm not going to.
It's made me scream a couple of times. And you know what? It takes a lot these days to make me scream on a movie.
Yeah. I've done a couple like, what the fuck? Ah! Yeah. What is that? What is that? That's what you do.
Right.
What the fuck is that thing?
No, I've literally screamed.
Oh my God.
Screamed.
Well, my kids, they're like, oh my God, what we would do without mom's reactions to the movie.
There was one part where we were like falling asleep. It was that day that we were putting the couch together, and he had already finished everything. And so we kind of just sat on the couch, and he had turned on the TV in that room. And so we started watching it, whatever episode we were on. And we were just both so tired because dealing with...
Right. The puppy.
Yeah. Because Athena was sick this weekend. Yeah. Anyways, we were just so tired that I started dozing off. I think we both started dozing off around the same time, and we literally both woke up at the same time, and it was like one of those, it was like at the perfect moment, and we both went, ah! Like, it was...
That's hilarious. Great timing.
Yeah, it was good. Anything else?
Trying to think. I think it's been pretty uneventful. You know, I always do that. And then later, like, I'm listening to it back and I'm like, why didn't I talk about this or that? What a dumbass. It's okay.
Do you want to
How
just
about
jump...
you? Anything besides
the movies?
The doggy being sick?
Yeah, we put the couch together.
Yeah. It seriously looks like it was professionally...
What was that?
Professionally done.
Yeah, it was this couch that we let my daughter have a party, and one of her friends broke the arm, and she hit it by throwing one of my throws over it.
That's hilarious.
And I didn't notice until I was like kind of pushing the couch out of the way so I could sweep behind it, and my arm, it was like the arm, so it's like it was cracked right in the middle.
She
so
never
it just like
told you.
No,
Until
she was like, I meant to tell you.
Sure. Yeah.
Sure.
I meant to tell you one of my brothers did that. The dog did it.
No. So, anyways, it's been sitting like that since last year. Has
it been that long?
Yeah, because it was like February.
Wow.
It was February, early March.
Oh,
No,
just found a
it was
piece of
February.
meat in my snack.
This lady.
Just found a piece of meat.
This
floating
lady
around
who
in my
says she
mouth.
doesn't have ADD.
Well, it just came in. Like, what am I going to do? Ignore it? Surprise
She's
me.
like,
Snack.
Anyways, so we barely finished it. We had taken apart like almost 2 months ago. Because I like got a hair up my ass one morning, and I was like, it was right before Serena's baby shower, the baby shower. I was like, I'm going to fix this couch this weekend. We're going to get it done. So I pulled every staple out of it, like got Albert to help me, and we were like, there was so many fucking staples in that thing. Like,
Do you think they need that many staples?
I don't know. I mean, maybe.
Did you put that many back?
No, I did not. I didn't have that kind of patience.
No.
We did all that, and the party came, and we shoved it into the back room because obviously we weren't done.
It didn't get,
Yeah. And so Albert cut out all the pieces, like the wood pieces and all that stuff, and we just barely got to it.
It looks good.
We just barely got to it.
She's like, look. I'm like, oh, wow, you had somebody come to fix it? She's like, no, we did it, you stupid motherfucking dumbass.
We did not.
She did. She's always calling me names.
I'm very abusive behind the scenes.
You have no idea.
That's why she's always like making sure her words are right. Tipsy.
You have no idea, you guys.
Tipsy. It's tipsy. Is it tipsy?
Tipsy Tales. Am I allowed to say Tipsy Tales?
Anyways, you want to get to it?
Let me just have the computer say it. Tipsy Tales.
Titsy?
Titsy?
Maybe we should change the name.
Let's do it. It is no longer Tipsy.
If only my tits were bigger, then that would make sense.
Titsy! Anyway, so...
Oh!
What? Oh! Damn! We are going on an adventure.
On Sunday.
That's right.
To Vulture City.
That's right.
Where they're having a Paracon.
Paracon
2021.
That's paranormal conference for those of you who don't know what Paracon is. We're going to go mix it up with some others.
Yeah. We figured we'd go check it out.
A haunted town.
Yes.
Vulture City is
I did not know this.
Okay, well, I did bring it up once.
Did you?
Yeah, because I watched some Arizona ghost hunter people do an investigation, and I was like, ooh, we need to see if we can go up there and do an investigation. But it was a while ago. I only brought it up like that for a minute.
Did you call it Vulture City? Because I think I would have remembered a name like Vulture City.
Pretty sure I did.
That's crazy. I didn't even know there was a place called Vulture City.
I might have said a ghost town in Wickenburg.
13.5%. It's working.
You know. So we don't have to drive real far.
Right.
And we're not going to do all the hublub stuff, but we're going to tool around, hobnob.
Have breakfast.
Maybe
some lunch.
Check out the little town itself.
It'll be fun. Elbows. It'll be our little adventure. Maybe we'll Instagram it.
Yes, that's what
Let's
we'll
do that.
do.
Let's do
Maybe
that.
we'll do like a little we'll do some like video, whatever, not lives. Cause God, are you okay? You're like me when I get up.
She makes a lot of noise when she gets up. A lot of
She's
noise.
just like me. I do a little ow, tailbone, knees,
She's like,
knees.
I'm an old lady.
Look at her looking. Yes, I know I relate, baby girl.
Yeah, and we kind of decided this last minute today because that's how we roll.
Yeah. Well, I had saw that. I didn't know. And I saw it, and then I almost didn't say anything. I'm going to say something to Alma and see what she says. And you were game. Mm-hmm. So, why not? It's probably going to be a pretty day.
I'm usually a weirdo about Sunday because that's my day.
Yeah.
We should start doing this stuff. It's an experience.
Yeah. This wine's already got me yawning.
Okay, we should probably start before, you turn into a pumpkin.
We do have an interesting story, though.
We do.
So,
we do.
It is in Australia. That's why we have the Australian wine.
Yes.
It's funny to hear Australians say this because it doesn't sound like how we say it.
Like we say Cockatoo?
Cockatoo Island. Mm-hmm. They say something totally different with their accent.
Right.
Cockatoo. Wait.
I'm not even going to try because
hello?
I will butcher it.
Cockatoo. They say it really fast. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't even sound like they're saying cockatoo.
So it's like this island smack dab in the middle of Sydney Harbor.
Yeah. It's like one of the biggest islands.
Yeah.
There's like 7. Did you see that? There's like 7 islands, and this is like one of the big ones. So
it's referred to as Australia's Alcatraz.
Yes.
And if you see pictures, you can understand why. It's located, like I said, in the center of Sydney Harbor, and it's purportedly haunted.
Dun, dun, dun.
The British called the island Cockatoo Island because of the flocks of noisy parrots that once perched in its sinewy red angophoras that grew on the island.
Except for now.
There's no cockatoos.
No, it's seagulls.
Oh, yeah.
Like crazy amount of seagulls that like go crazy. Because like they nest there. So they will just like come at people. It's crazy. People get all freaked out, but it's really just because they're nesting.
She just wanted to let him in.
I see that. That was awfully sneaky.
And she just went right back under the table.
You're a sneaky
I thought
bitch.
I was trying to push her out of the room.
She knows. She's looking away. Hold on. Oh, what was that? Was that she totally belched. She was totally looking away while we were talking about her. Okay.
So, yeah, seagulls.
Yeah, so I watch some of these things, like these seagulls just come thousands it seems like, and they're just like going crazy after these people. What is with you? Look at him. No, don't. Okay, why are you so hot?
Get down.
Get down. He really thinks that you won't do that if I'm holding him.
I'm pointing the spray bottle at him. It's water.
She took her nose and pushed my hand off of him just now. That was selfish.
She is very possessive of you.
God. I was like, who's pushing me? And I realized because she put some force behind it. It's so adorable.
She's like, it's adorable.
It is.
She's like, I'm going to kiss him on the mouth and I'm going to get my allergies.
Yeah. Right after they're done. I mean, I listen to our podcast and I sound like I smoke like 10 packs of cigarettes a day and like that old lady that's like with the long nails and she's like, honey, come get grandma a big wet kiss with her rotting yellow teeth. And she's like smoked a bunch of cigarettes. Yeah.
I just had a visual.
I know. I wanted you to, because that's what I sound like during our podcast.
No, you
when
don't.
I laugh and I have that like that raspy laugh. Like, what the fuck? It's just from my allergies, everybody. I need it to have an inhaler.
All right.
So anyway.
Also called I am going to butcher this. Warema by the indigenous Australians, known in the Darug language as meaning women's land. The island may have been used as a fishing base.
Do you know why they call it that? Like, so before it was used for what it is, like back in the day. I think even then there was a portion of it that they've chopped all down since.
Right.
Where the indigenous used, that's what they lived on. That's what they survived on. So even now I watched a news segment where they're like, okay, so we want to revitalize this island. And it was crazy because they're like, we want to know what the community thinks. Like, how do you feel? But before they did the news conference, they gave like gratitude to the tribes and to the elders that once lived there, the ancestor. It would be like doing something at my house and me like inviting like spirit ancestors and giving gratitude to them or Mother Earth. That's what they did. And I was like, wow, I really respect that they were doing that. But anyway, just so you know.
Considering the history of the island.
And I wonder if they're just like that because in Australia there's so much like the Aborigines. There's all these different tribes there still that I wonder if they're just very respectful to that out there.
Well, I think like us, they have kind of a
I wonder.
Mixed history.
Well, I'm sure they do.
Yeah.
But I mean, I wonder if they have more respect now. Like just doing that showed me that they do.
Right.
All right. So I'm sorry. Go ahead. Because it was like a state representative that did that.
All right. Suffice it to say, that was like the first incarnation is when the Aboriginals were there. And I think they used it, did I say? Yeah, as a fishing base.
Yeah.
Okay. Then it was a prison. Which is interesting to me because wasn't Australia a British penal colony for a long time before it became I think it is.
I think so. And I think part of that island, the history of it and with it being a prison and stuff, that island, they actually, because it has tunnels that run underneath it. And part of that was like during the wars, they were worried that island was going to get completely destroyed because it was a target. And then they had the tunnels, and those were like kind of like the bunkers, like so that they could hide. And if it did get bombed, they'd have a place to go.
I saw those pictures. I was like, wow, those are really reinforced.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry about that. Am I jumping ahead?
A little, but it's okay.
All right. Sorry.
All right. Between 1839 and 1869, Cockatoo Island operated as a convict penal establishment, primarily as a place of secondary punishment for convicts who had reoffended in the colonies.
It was messed up. It was really dysfunctional.
Okay, so that makes sense. It was described as a brutal place. Numerous prisoners died in custody and others died trying to flee. One famous story involves a guard being murdered by an inmate. Today, the island's remnant convict structures provide visitors with a window into an era when people were exiled to Australia and put to work on the colony's. I just answered my own question.
Right.
On the colony's ambitious building projects. Okay, so the structures include Fitzroy Dock, both the earliest graving dock commenced in Australia and only surviving example nationally of a dry dock constructed by convicts. Other landmarks from this period are Cockatoo Island's guardhouse, mess hall, solitary confinement cells.
Which are tiny.
I know. And then grain silos and the Bilolela House, all constructed from sandstone quarried by convicts. And then its next iteration was as a shipyard between...
The island itself is like a giant rock of sandstone.
Yeah.
So that's why, like, then they had the convicts carve everything out of sandstone because the island's out of sandstone. But a lot of convicts died doing all of that work too. So anyway, sorry.
Between 1857 all the way up until 1991, Cockatoo Island was also the site of one of Australia's biggest shipyards, where Australian and other Allied naval vessels were serviced during World War II. Around 250 ships were tended at the facility, including the Queen Elizabeth and Queen Mary.
Oh, I didn't know that.
The facilities were also used to convert merchant ships and passenger liners for the war effort. Ships damaged in the wartime attacks made it back to considerable distance to the island for repairs, including the HMAS Australia after kamikaze attacks in the Philippines and the HMAS Hobart after torpedo attacks in the New Hebrides. All right, and then the next iteration was as a girls' reformatory. Okay,
so some of the stuff that I read said it was girls and boys, but then the stuff that I saw where people were actually touring it, I realized it's got to say on there that it's just a girls' reformatory because they were only referring to it as a girls' reformatory.
Yeah. So it was only girls. They did have something for boys, and I'll get to that.
Oh, okay.
All right, so girls' reformatory. So apparently the prison stuff doesn't leave visitors as unsettled as its third reincarnation, which is as an industrial, which is weird to me, industrial reformatory for girls, which came into existence in 1871 to distance the island from the stigma attached to the former prison, and it was renamed Bilolela, a North Queensland Aboriginal word for cockatoo. Unfortunately, in the case of some of the island's young wards, this exercise in rebranding did not reflect their reality.
It was highly abusive.
Yeah.
And the conditions were disgusting.
Really disgusting. And yeah, there's this guy, George Lucas. Yeah. Not George Lucas of Star Wars fame, but this guy was a dick. The reformatory was for girls who had broken the law, and the industrial school was meant to be an orphanage. The dreaded school was a home for wayward, orphaned, or Aboriginal girls between the ages of 8 and 18. The reality, though, was that the orphan girls were housed with petty criminals.
Oh, I didn't know that part.
Yeah, leading to unpleasant situations and squalid conditions. George Lucas, in charge of the girls' school, took away the beds as punishment and made them sleep on the cold stone flagging. Many of his charges were found to have bruises and lacerations.
Wait a minute. Did you see any of the people that toured? They showed the cells and stuff like where. So it showed with like 8 girls sleeping on these bunk beds, 4 to each top and bottom, and they were wood slats, so like each girl got 2 slats essentially, and their pillows were also of wood, and I think that's how the convicts slept too. Now I don't know if the convicts slept 4 to bed, but that's how the girls slept,
right?
And
when they weren't sleeping on the floor,
and the wood were their pillows. Like they showed this, it's probably maybe the size of your desk right here, maybe this size, but you saw how small the cells were, right?
Yeah.
Like, so the rooms that they had them in, even the larger rooms, could barely fit that bunk in it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's not
really sad.
They had to be really thin, and then they only got the 2 slats each.
Yeah.
and they slept on wood, and they were bunk beds. Yeah, it was very sick.
So when we're talking about those solitary confinement, it says a trio of punishment cells, a narrow chambers carved into solid rock and used for solitary confinement, spoke to the brutality of the time, not least because they had been located cruelly beneath the aromatic convict cookhouse. These were the same cells used to punish little girls after the convict prison closed and almost seamlessly transitioned into the Biloela Reformatory and Industrial School for Girls. Other reports show that the girls lapped water from a common trough.
Ew.
And were not given cutlery to eat with. So, like, they treated them like animals.
Animals. Worse than animals, it sounds like.
This inhumane treatment caused frequent unruliness and rioting. And despite high fences, there were reports of fraternizing between the boys and the girls. So, this thing about the boys, about the same time in 1871, when the girls' school was being...
Okay, there were boys.
But a school ship, it was a ship. Where they had the boys on.
Okay.
For neglected boys, it was called the Vernon. It was docked off the island. The Vernon was an initiative of Henry Parks, and its function was to teach boys nautical skills. By far, they were treated so much better. They actually were learning skills.
That's disgusting.
The Reformatory and the Vernon operated simultaneously, but were vastly different. The Vernon was run by people who had faith in the ideas of reform, but the girls' Reformatory was cruelly mismanaged. Eventually, there was a public commission, and an investigation took place on the Biloela Industrial School for Girls, the Biloela Reformatory for Girls, and the Vernon, and it was closed down in 1888. Just the girls' side. I think the boy side continued on. There was another ship that came in, and they moved on to that ship, and yeah, it was by far it was better. The girls were basically training to be servants, submissive servants, and the boys were being trained a skill and were being treated better. They were be
men.
Yeah, they were being treated better. They weren't living under the same conditions that girls were. So that's pretty much like the history in a nutshell. I mean, it's not...
It was the shipyard and a dockyard.
Right.
Two different things.
Right.
There was a shipyard, and then it was a naval dockyard. Or was it a naval dockyard and then a shipyard? I don't know, one or the other. And then it has these tunnels that run underneath it. And I was watching this one, and they were making it sound like... So the tunnels were multi-purpose, but they also would, like, the water ran up to them, I guess. So, like, the ships pull up and they would unload stuff through the tunnels, or have the prisoners or whatever get stuff out. And then I guess there's might have been some kind of like rooms or something towards the way back of the tunnels where they stocked stuff, but they also used those rooms to like beat the fuck out of prisoners that weren't doing enough or that got in trouble or just for the hell of it. So they would just like that they could hide in there to beat them.
Yeah.
It was crazy. Super dysfunctional. That place has so much dark history.
Like negative.
Yeah.
Between the prison and the reformatory.
And the house. Like the wife. I think it's Sir George's wife. They call him Sir George. It's George Lucas's wife. Hold on, I wrote down her name. I think it's Anne or Marianne or something like that. But she was a very disgruntled woman who was a real bitch, and she still is, even in spirit.
Okay, so
Marianne.
Is she? Okay.
She's the angry wife of the superintendent, George Lucas.
Okay.
And she's the one that scares everybody in the house.
Okay, because I was looking for that because I heard it on when I was watching the YouTubes, but I couldn't find anything written because everything they talk about was of the little girl.
Oh, so I don't know about the little girl.
Oh.
I know. You want me to talk about her? Okay,
because we were moving on into the actual haunting.
Okay, so these are the hauntings. So in the, what's it called, the house?
Biloela?
Yeah, the house, which is where Marianne and George lived. So a lot of people will walk in and then they get, it's like they're fine at first, but then they kind of get to this one certain room and they all get kind of like, don't walk in this room. And then a lot of people get kind of like sick feeling and stuff like that being in there. In the house, like in different parts. But I think this one room really gives it to
So
people.
is she the one, the red lady?
Yes, the
Okay.
lady in red.
Okay.
And she just doesn't want anybody in her house. She's super territorial, it sounds like. Okay, so one of the things, did you see where they had like a reenactment of this? They had some kind of a worker go into the house and then he comes running out.
Right.
I think that was on Haunted Australia.
Yeah.
And so he went in and they said that he was physically thrown out of the room.
Yeah.
And so that freaked him out. And he was
That's
like,
kind of how the reenactment was. I mean, like
they really threw him dramatically out of the room. I don't know that spirit would actually do that. Probably not. But anyway, so that was one. But that's just how, like, anybody that went in there, even amateurs, they were kind of put off going in there. And then any psychic medium type people that they had go in there, they would all kind of like, I mean, I'm going in anyway, but it feels like somebody doesn't want me to come in.
right.
And then some people were getting like a lot of, like, if you don't want us here, just tell us and we'll go. And it would tell them they didn't want them in there, so they would leave, which is what you should do.
Right. If you say, I'll go, if you
Yeah.
tell me to go, I'll go, then go.
Don't be an asshole. Oh, many people. Oh, yeah. So they get like physically drained. They get sickly and feel unwanted. Oh, they can hear voices. Mm-hmm. There's actually one, I can't remember what I was hearing, if it was down like in the basement or if it was actually in the house. I can't remember now. It's this creepy ass laugh. Mm-hmm. Did you see that? Mm-mm. Okay, it has to be in the house, I think. But it's this like... This creepy ass laugh. Yeah, it's definitely meant to make somebody uncomfortable. It's definitely like an EVP that they got. And then they'd get like somebody asked a question and you could clearly hear it go, yes. Like it was almost like it was like right up in her ear.
Yeah.
Some of the people or like the shows that were doing stuff, I'm like, I don't even believe you.
Right.
Because that sounds fake.
Right.
But the amateurs are the ones that I believe the most. Like they're like just tooling around and being amateurs, and then they get shit. And that's the ones I actually believe that get like yes or and then people report getting touched, not thrown across a room, but just like touched, tugged, like get the fuck out. This is my house. But it's more like if spirit doesn't want you there, they will make you feel, you can physically get sick. Like they'll make you feel drained if it's a negative thing.
Right.
Or they'll make you feel, so I do believe those things. But yeah, she's a real bitch, this woman.
Yeah.
But you didn't get anything on her, right?
No.
Okay, yeah. So that's pretty much how she is. She's very possessive, and that's her house, and she doesn't want anybody. Oh, and then they said they often see, a lot of people have reported seeing her looking out a window, and they said that they thought she had, like, lost a baby. Mm-hmm. And somebody said something that they had caught. There might have been evidence of like a photo of something like that. What are you doing? A photo of something like that they caught an apparition, but that they hear a baby or like validating that story. So I don't know. Maybe that's why she was a bitter old bitch, because she had lost a baby. And maybe because she was married to that asshole.
Yeah. He sounds like a real piece
maybe
of
he
work.
was just an abusive dick, and so she had to be like...
She became an embittered woman.
Yeah, because maybe she wanted more kids, and he was like, fuck no, like, look what they're going to turn into. And she had to deal with all these little girls that she probably looked at as, like, fucking punishment. Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
Sad.
Seeing it through her eyes, especially if she's always looking out the window. Like she's waiting for somebody.
Right.
Or something. A better life.
Or she just is keeping an eye on people, making sure they're not coming in her house.
Yeah. But anyway, she's super possessive and you don't want to run into her house. So you should just stay the fuck out. I think that's a good one. And then I have a bunch of other spots. But
Did you get the officers building?
I don't know. Turbine shop is what I got. Oh.
No.
I don't know. Tell me about the officers.
Previous residents of the commanding officers building on Cockatoo Island are said to have reported footsteps going up and down the stairs when apparently there had been nobody there, perhaps those of the murdered guard who regularly patrolled the building. And about the murdered guard, the Empire newspaper of December 7th, 1857 reported, at late hour last evening, information was brought to Sydney that a soldier on duty named Edward Cook had murdered a fellow soldier named Samuel Bryant by stabbing him through the heart with his bayonet.
Ooh.
So that's who that's supposed to be.
That's crazy.
Then there's the playful little girl.
Okay, I don't know about the girl.
Okay.
I don't think I do.
Aged 5 or 6 and has made her presence known to young girls visiting Billalela House, the former superintendent's quarters.
Wait, maybe she didn't lose a baby. Maybe that was her baby.
Well, they think they know who it is.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Okay, she's thought to be Mary Caroline, also known as Minnie Mann, daughter of Gother Mann, who was superintendent from 1858 to 1870. She's said to smack hands, stroke hair. Guests to the islands have taken photos, and one shows a little girl in the window of Billalela House, which some believe could be Minnie Mann.
Oh, interesting.
And I'll probably put a picture, the picture that I saw.
Maybe that's no. They said the woman. Okay, I was gonna say maybe that's the apparition they were.
No,
talking
because
about.
she's said to be wearing white.
Oh,
Some visitors have reported a sudden loss of battery power in cameras and phones, reported seeing ghostly figures, feeling strange gusts of air, and even smelling tobacco.
ooh.
Yeah. So what was the one about?
Well, hold on now, because you said something about the soldier guy, and it reminded me of the tunnels.
Right.
So one of the guys that was like, I don't know,
Hunting.
it was on
Hunting
the
us.
hunting, and he was saying something about seeing somebody, an apparition or a ghost, and then he was like, "Wait, I don't think it's an actual. I think it's somebody dressed like like in military clothing or something." I thought that was really interesting. So
Like an imposter, somebody pretending to be a soldier.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then I noticed watching amateurs, like just these people who have like 10 views on YouTube,
Right.
that were getting a lot of like responses in the tunnels. So they might say, it'd be like me and you going in and going, "Hey, knock 3 times if you're here." And they were getting like a response.
Right.
Where I was watching some professional shows and they're like, "I think I hear whispering," and clearly you could tell it was man-made whispering.
Right.
Like it's not ghosts. But then in these tunnels, people were getting EVPs and the knocking in response to their questions. And then they were also getting the REM pods, setting up. And a lot of them had, what are those EVP things? The lights on them. They walk around. What are those? EMF.
Yeah.
They had those, and those were going off. So to me, the tunnels are super active, which they should be. Hold on. What was I saying? The turbine? Yeah, the turbine shop. People report seeing shadows there. Okay, so there's like this bridge area where they walk,
Right.
and they report seeing like 3 shadows there. Well, they said people actually see for sure one shadow, but there was another YouTuber that was saying, "I haven't seen it, but one of my fellow people has actual video of a shadow going by in this doorway, and it's in that same area." So the shadow figures are super important, and they believe the shadow figures to be that of the 3 convicts who died from asphyxiation from the molded wheat that they were inhaling when they were carving out what are those? Anyway, the big circle things.
Oh, yeah.
Made of sandstone.
Those are the cells.
Yeah.
Those are the solitary confinement cells.
Not the cells.
Oh, okay.
They're these giant, so they have this outside. They walk along this bridge thing, this walkway. There's these giant circular, I don't know what they are. I mean, it must have something to do with shipping. I think it's
Silos? Grain silos?
Silos. That's what it is. Yeah, a silo. What is a silo?
Where you keep grain to store it.
Oh, that's why it
After
was
you
molded
harvest
wheat.
it.
Okay,
Yeah.
that makes sense. So they were inhaling the molded wheat. I kept thinking, where's the wheat coming from? Why are they inhaling molded wheat?
I heard that one of the superintendents had, I don't know if it was the prisoners but it had them because he was growing cabbage.
Oh, right. Yes. I saw
Growing
that
cabbage. Yeah.
And
No.
okay, so now today they will often use that area. Artists there's like this big warehouse area, and they allow artists to come in, and did you see that? They allow artists to come in and do artwork. And this one artist, this woman, is on record saying that she's doing her thing, and she caught a shadow figure. She thought it was a person, and she's like, wait, there shouldn't be anybody over here. So she was going after it to be like, hey, time to go, you gotta. And then she realized there's nobody there. It was a shadow.
Right.
So it was like, it's again one of these shadow figures. Like, that's how prominent they are. It's not like just like where you're like.
And when we get into the other, talking about those shows where they
right.
They had an experience. Okay, and you talked about the worker being pushed. Okay, it's also a camping ground.
Oh yeah, glamping.
Yeah, it's a campground, and you can do glamping as well. Yes.
Did you see all the tents?
Yeah,
that is so badass.
Yeah, so they've completely revitalized it, and they've
Now they want to put like shops and stuff like there.
Yeah,
but for now, it's ghost tours and glamping.
Right.
It's so cool.
Yeah.
We don't do shit like that here.
Yeah. And they have the tents ready for you to use. So
they're nice. And they leave like shampoo and conditioner. And you open your tent and there's the water.
That's why they call it glamping.
Yeah, it's so beautiful. It's so awesome.
And it's right on the water.
Right on the water.
Yeah.
Like you literally unzip your tent and there's the water.
Yeah, exactly.
So badass. I want to go.
Maybe we should put that on our bucket list.
Oh, I would go to Australia. That is on my bucket list.
Well, Australia's on my bucket list, but not this island. No. I didn't know about it, so
I didn't either. I always wanted to go to Melbourne, but
so about the camping.
Yeah.
Some visitors have claimed to see Minnie's ghost walking around at night.
What?
In recent years, visitors have claimed a girl in white dress eerily featured in their photos.
What?
Some believe the girl pictured is Minnie. Ross Downey, who's a tour organizer, previously told the SMH 2 students who camped there one night complained they weren't able to sleep. They said they saw a little girl in a white dress matching Minnie's description entering their tent and asking them to play with her in the middle of the night.
What?
Yeah.
I did not see this, and I'm sad that I didn't. That kind of trumps all mine.
The little girl.
Yeah, that trumps
I was looking for the red dress lady everywhere, I found this. Did you get something else?
Okay, I'm just looking like mine's Minnie here, just embodied.
Just other than like watching those shows, and you could see them getting. They had that psychic guy going in the tunnel. He was getting stuff.
All right, well, yeah, I guess that's it. I mean, for the most part, we got the good stuff. Like it is a very active island. Okay, let's think about this again though. Surrounded by water, like the islands. Like in California or, all those other it's water.
Right.
I think that's a huge part.
The key,
of
like it's a conduit, right?
So, yeah, that's why it's so active. Also, so, yeah. And, yeah, so Sir No Face.
You want to get into that. Okay. So the way this whole thing started is Carlene is like, you got to check out this movie. Yeah. There's 2 of them. So watch them.
Well, there's like a series and there's 3, but the third one did you watch the third one?
Yeah.
The third one.
That third one was the one that made me really mad. That's the one I told you I just like got kind of like just frustrated.
The third one is the one that made me go, okay, I'm never a conspiracy theory kind of person, but this is kind of wrapping it up in a bow for me.
To me, it just felt very disjointed.
No, and it was okay. So the first one to me sounded more like what you were saying, because I just fast forwarded through a lot of that because I'm like blah blah blah, all about you, and I just show me what the proof was, because they kept talking about for the first time we have proof. Everybody wants proof that there's ghosts, and we have real proof.
Well, and then the full body apparition,
right? Like
which he said is the holy grail.
This is it. We have it.
Yeah.
And so finally they show it, and I kept going, I don't see a fucking thing. And then I'm like, oh, now I see it.
But it was very drawn out. Okay, so it's by the director's Chad Kalick, who also is in the film.
Right. So if you know him, he does ghost hunting shows.
Right. And
supposedly he's a reputable ghost hunter.
Right. Well, he's most famous for Paranormal State. Have you ever watched any of those way back in the day?
Yeah.
So, yeah. So it's...
To me, that's like saying that Zach What's-His-Face is reputable.
Right.
Sorry.
Yeah. What's his face?
Yeah. I don't even take the time to know their whole
Zach
name.
Baggy Pants.
Yeah. But anyway, the first whole movie is him talking about this. Mm-hmm. Not really showing it, talking about it. And then showing him going on tour about it.
But what I did think was interesting was that he ended up going on a ghost hunt with those guys.
Right. I liked that he tried to... okay, so to me, the credibility for me was him supposedly, allegedly, trying to debunk it.
Right.
Like, I'm going to debunk this. I'm going to have the best known CGI artist debunk this.
Right. Which he was supposedly not able to.
Why does it have to be CGI? Like,
well, because he wanted him to recreate what
but I'm saying, like, how... It doesn't have to be CGI that created that in the first place. But what they were saying was they even tried to recreate it by the guy that originally filmed it is the equivalent to Chad in Australia.
Craig Powell. From West Sydney Paranormal Research.
They go by Whisper or something like that.
Yeah.
And his gig is... Australia, the foundation that now has control over this island, hired him and his company to do a ghost hunt on this island. Mm-hmm. They're like, we will pay you. And he's like, oh my gosh, what? That's unheard of. You're going to pay us? All right. If you buy
Which apparently they never got paid.
Apparently they never got paid. And they did this 2-year contract with them, and they did all this ghost hunting on there. And this is where
Paranormal investigation.
And this is where they find this, they call him Sir No Face. Now, where do they come up with Sir is this George Lucas likes to be referred to as Sir. So when they
Was this George Lucas?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Because he's the only boss.
No, there was a few.
I'm pretty okay, maybe I'm wrong.
But it might have been him. It might have been.
But I thought it was because but I could be wrong. I'm going to say disclaimer because a lot of times I am. But I remember putting the connection there, and I was like, oh, that's what they're talking about. That's dumb. Because I didn't think.
Because he liked to be called Sir.
Yeah.
So they started calling him Sir.
Right. And so, what happened was they got this apparition. Before and after, I think, of this apparition, they were getting other signs. So they were like, give us a sign. And then this great flash of light would happen.
Which was so bright that it filled up the whole room.
Right. And there's no electricity.
Right.
No electricity on the island, apparently.
Yeah. Everything that they're doing is battery operated, apparently.
Drink. Let's drink.
Drink.
Apparently.
Drink.
So they get this flash of light, and then they're like all sitting in this one area, and they get a flashlight again. And during that time is when they realize it's
intelligent.
Yeah, and it answers to Sir.
Right.
And if they call it George or Mr. Lucas or anything, it doesn't answer. And when they call it Sir, it's like responds.
Right.
So they're like, oh, it wants us to call him Sir. Anyway, so they have this camera angled towards a room, and nobody's in there, nobody's around it. They just have it in there, observing the room. And when they went back to look at it, I imagine, is when they noticed they actually caught something.
Right. Okay. So mind you, they've already locked down the building. The
Security
team
guards,
has
everything.
left for the night.
Yeah.
And they've left their cameras running.
Yeah.
So this was caught with nobody.
Nobody's there.
Nobody's there at all. And it's only when they go back and they start reviewing the
footage. And then they're like,
what
the fuck is that?
And let me just tell you.
It's creepy shit.
It is creepy. It's
I got
creepy as
chills
fuck.
right now. Ooh,
And
got
I was
chills
just
right
watching
now.
it earlier because I was like just kind of like going over it again.
Yeah.
It still gives me the chills because it's really creepy.
And
but if you blink,
you'd miss it. And I think that's why I was like, what the fuck? Because they kept zooming in, and zooming in distorts it. So when they zoom in, I'm like, well, I don't know what the fuck you're looking at.
Right.
And I think they call it no face because it's got no face. You can't really see a face on it.
But you can make out some eyes.
Yes, you can. So.
That's not an EVP. That is
No.
Shorty.
So now
going to town on her son's
killing
butt.
the whole thing for you all, we're going to kill it. So, disclaimer, if you don't want to hear this plot twist, then don't listen and stop this right now. But
hey guys, we're going to talk about the whole thing.
yeah.
Stop right now if you want to go watch the footage from Sir No Face.
And then come back.
And come back and
We'll give you a chance.
keep listening. But we're also going to go into the second movie.
And the third, I think.
And the third.
Anyway, okay, so if you've returned, we're going to talk about this motherfucking apparition. Is it an apparition? Or, I got chills. Is it
something else?
A motherfucking alien?
Okay, now you're jumping ahead.
Or is it nothing and somebody's making it up?
Okay, I'm going to be completely honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
When I first watched it, I thought it looked like an alien.
Okay.
Immediately.
And that's what a lot of people think.
Immediately.
And I will say they did show Craig, and I think his son or somebody, they tried to duplicate it. Like, well, if it was, one of us, like trying to peek out and make
side
it.
by side.
Yeah, they did it side by side, and they cannot replicate that same grainy shit.
Right. But also the size.
And the size.
Yeah, so when they finally figured out, putting them side by side, they finally figured out that this thing was very small.
Small and thin and big.
Not a person.
It's not a person.
Not a person.
And that's where the CGI guy comes. So the CGI guy comes, he's like, no, this motherfucker is not CGI'd in. This guy has done movies like, what is that, Bumblebee guy, the Transformer movie and stuff like that. He's very accredited. He's like, no, it's very unlikely this was a CGI deal. Mm-hmm. Like, I think it's authentic. Mm-hmm. And so, what was that?
That just turned on.
What?
What does it say?
I'm not sure something. That's freaky shit. Because I keep getting chills too behind me. It said, I'm not sure something.
That was bizarre.
That was weird. Okay.
That's never happened.
Anyway, so what's it doing?
It just pulled up the typewriter.
What the fuck? Do you want to say something to us? I mean, if you're going to say it now.
It just scrolled over to that screen.
That's bizarre.
Pulled up the typewriter.
All right, I'll turn my back. Maybe it's more comfortable doing it behind my back. All right, well, I'm going to take another slug of wine here.
Shit just got weird.
Okay, so a lot of people, when they were showing off this movie, and they'd get to that part, people were like, what the fuck? That does not look like a human. That looks like a motherfucking alien.
Right.
And they,
okay, and that's in the second part.
is it?
Yeah.
So, yeah, for the longest time, it's all about ghosts.
It's in Two-Face the Gray.
Okay, so, yeah, the whole time they're like, it's ghosts.
Right.
Ghosts. And then they do Two-Face the Gray, and they are like, wait a minute.
This is where it almost lost me.
Is it? So then they start realizing that when they were showing the movie to people, the first one, a lot of people were coming up to him and saying, that looks like an alien. Mm-hmm. Okay, blah, blah, blah. And then he even did some radio promos and stuff. And even the radio people are like, that looks like a fucking alien.
And then some weird dude
Weird
comes up.
shit starts happening.
Yeah. Some weird ass guy, they're in the middle of this, I think it was a promo tour.
Uh-huh.
And so Craig is giving a speech, not Craig, Chad Kalick, who's the director.
Right.
He's up there going through his spiel, And Craig
the
is there.
tattooed man.
Yeah. And then Craig is there as well because he's been part of the movie. So he's there for
he's sitting
all the
more
promo
like in
stuff.
the back watching shit.
Yeah.
Well.
And this dude in a cowboy hat
is sitting and watching this shit. Well, this guy in a cowboy hat with tattoos.
Right.
Kind of suspicious. So the Australian dude is watching this cowboy dude walk in. Mm-hmm. And what, Chad?
Chad. Oh.
Craig is the Australian dude. Yeah. Chad is the American dude. Okay, so Chad is up there talking. Craig is like, this guy looks like he has a mission. Like, I'm going to watch this guy just in case he's going to be doing something fishy. Because prior to that, though, fishy shit had been happening, right?
No, that's on the second one.
I know. Like,
no, that's on the third one.
No, it was on the second one where the two guys show up at Craig's door.
No, this was right after that. I just
was
rewatched
it after
it
this?
today. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Just to make sure, like, I was like straight on the story.
Yeah, because I'm not.
Yeah.
I started watching it a second time, and then I'm like, well, we're not going to do anything on it, so I'm not going to watch it.
Okay, in a nutshell, this dude comes up to Chad, and he has, like, all these documents and footage, and he basically tells him, like, I want you to go over this stuff, because you're the only person I can trust with this, basically.
Like,
I don't want
I'm in danger.
Right.
I'm in danger.
And Chad's like, well, why do I want this shit? Because you're basically... like
and then
hot potato.
Yeah, and Chad was like, he even in his hotel room, he like threw it away, and then something made him go back and get it.
Mm-hmm. So he starts going all over the footage, which honestly, I don't think he shows a lot of the footage. It was just it was like frames of different videos of different, like, that's what like was losing me in the whole, I don't know, the whole storytelling part of it. But the connection was to aliens. Basically, it all comes down to aliens. And he's asking this guy who they refer to as Skyfall, okay, this is all interesting stuff that you gave me. Supposedly he has like classified stuff that nobody's supposed to have. He has like footage of like actual UFOs that nobody has. And he's like, what does this have to do with Sir No Face?
He's
basically.
like, it's right in front of your face.
Yeah.
And then they're like, hold up. And this might be in the third one. I don't know. I don't care. They're just basically, hold the fuck up. Because the bottom line is, Craig, the government, Australian government said, we will pay you and to do this investigation on this island for ghosts. And then they never paid them. Bottom line is, supposedly, they never got paid. Now, here's where this whole thing lost me. Because in this whole movie, they're like, and since then, they've closed it off to tours. They don't do tours anymore. And that's lie.
That's bullshit.
Because they do.
Right.
So, and I mean, they do glamping, for God's sakes. It's a huge tourist attraction, and it hasn't stopped.
Right.
So, anyway, that's where I was like...
Except for maybe COVID.
Yeah. And I'm like, so you lie. But anyway, what it was coming about to was that, did they have us do all this work for us to investigate ghosts or aliens or whatever?
Or were they being monitored to their reactions
to see what the aliens were, how the aliens were interacting with the humans? So basically, were the humans the experiment? Okay, so that's where the credibility, like, once I started like, well, duh, common sense, like, well, I'm watching it, I'm super like, holy fuck.
And mind you, I'm sending her emails like, I just don't know.
Yeah, and I'm not typically very gullible when it comes to conspiracies and stuff. I'm like, this is dumb, I'm not into this. But I'm sending her stuff saying, okay, come on, we do stuff on Bigfoot. Like, none of it's proven. We just do it.
Right.
Like, it's all...
And agreed.
Okay. So, that's why we're like, I mean, come on.
We'll just do it.
Yeah. But then we were like, wait a minute. The actual island itself, the hauntings itself, are more interesting than this. And then I was like, hold on. I need to rewatch this shit. So then I started watching number 1. Mm-hmm. And that's where I was like, wait a minute. How fucking gullible am I? This isn't making any fucking sense because now I have researched this whole thing.
Right.
And I'm like, they said the island, since our investigation, they shut that island down and they won't let anybody do any tours anymore. Right. And I'm like, wrong motherfucker, because this thing I watched was 2 years ago. This was 4 years ago. This was 6 years ago. So you're wrong.
Right.
So they never closed it down to tourists. It's always been open. And they now are doing fucking glamping.
Right.
But
I do think that they did get footage.
I do think they got
believe
something.
that they, in that first one, honestly, I just think that they were just like stringing this.
Do you know what I think they did? I think they let the wrong people in. Mm-hmm. Because I think what happened was, you were right. It became about somebody.
Right.
And I think that it was no longer about the subject matter.
Right.
And the actual people who took the footage, who are kind of the equivalent of that in Australia, I don't think they were that before this. Does
Right.
that make sense? Because I was watching some of the previous stuff.
Right.
And it wasn't like that. It wasn't until this that now I'm watching it and going, you changed.
Right.
Somebody taught you to be this way.
Right.
Which sucks because you were much more credible back here.
Right.
Anyway, and I'm sure they're all going to hear and see this and come after me for this. But
because they're all listening to our podcast.
Yeah, because we're so famous. Oh my God, I know what I wanted to talk about tonight.
Oh, what?
Holy motherfucking shit, everybody.
What?
Fuck.
Uh-oh. I think
things
okay,
down,
we
throw
should
down
have
my Kleenex, contaminating.
glass of
Hold
wine?
on, gotta take a drink. Cheers. Ooh, that was a good one. I'm changing the subject from our subject at hand.
Wait, we should wrap it up, though.
Wait, can we wrap it up in a second? Because I don't want to forget.
Okay, don't forget.
October 11th, 2000, I can't remember. I think it was 2010. I'm not sure. Jesse Shockley. Mm-hmm. I think it was 2000. I think it was October 11th. Mm-hmm. I may be wrong. We could check that. But anyway, it's been about 10 years, I think, since Jesse Shockley. I think it was this month. Okay. Anyway, Jesse Shockley has been gone that long. So we can wrap this up, but I need to talk about Jesse because I just didn't want to forget.
October of 2011. 2011.
Oh, not 2010, 2011?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. See, this is how she sticks with me. Oh, I got chills. Oh, chills are coming. She stays with me. I'm not kidding. Anyway, so just don't let me forget we need to talk about Jessie because I just think she deserves it. I do believe the footage. Mm-hmm. I kind of think it could be alien. You all can laugh at
it looks like an alien.
It does. Once they kind of do side by side, zoom in. Once you kind of look at it 10,000 times and you see the shape of the body, the size, the big head, the eyes, it's alien. It's a gray.
But I guess my question would be, why is this alien in this house?
Well, first of all, the alien didn't know anybody was there.
Right.
So it thought it was empty.
Right.
I think that, again, I think they have something with water sources because a lot of times that's where you see them, or not you.
Right.
But people seem to see their ship or whatever. Certain weird things will happen. It has to do with water. Mm-hmm. Or something surrounding water. I wonder if they are onto something but dramatized it where maybe they have gotten some interactions with some alien stuff on that island. Mm-hmm. And listen, I'm not going to lie. I do believe that there are other sources in the universe.
We've talked about this before.
That are working for us. Yeah. Right. But they're working for us. And how many times have you heard me say, of course, humans want to do harm to these beings, but never, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but I haven't really heard of anybody actually getting harmed, murdered or chopped up into little pieces and experimented on.
Maybe a little probe up your ass.
A probe up the ass or in your belly button or whatever, but you're always sent back.
They tag us and release us back into the wild.
And it's because they really want to help.
They want to see us in our natural habitat, and they're just trying to figure out.
And I think they're trying to save our asses. And instead, how do we repay them? Oh my God, there's a ship. Shoot it down. Dissect them. Fucking kill them all.
I don't even know if they want to save us. I think they're just trying to figure out like what makes us
I think they're
work.
trying to help us.
You think so?
Yeah. I'll tell you more later.
Okay. Ooh.
If I say it on here, people are gonna think I'm a wackadoodle. Because listen, if I had said this,
I think
they
that,
already think
that
I'm a
ship has sailed.
Oh, I almost ripped this off my head. If I had heard what I want to say right now, even half the shit I say 10 years ago, if I had said that or heard myself say that 10 years ago, I'd be like, go back into your little cave. I'm not listening to you.
Right.
But because I either have experienced it, witnessed it, I don't ever teach or say or do anything that I haven't done or practiced or seen or experienced myself.
Right. But we still have lots of questions.
We do.
We still have lots of questions. My thing is be open-minded, but not so open-minded that your brains spill out of your head.
I mean, don't be a gullible fuckhead where you're going to be like, oh yeah, I believe everything they just said.
Right.
Like, have some brains of your own.
So, yes, after watching all three of these, the first one has the most credibility to me, even though he still
first one did not
inserts himself.
The first one
way
did
too
not
much.
have the most credibility.
No, to me, like with the
with the actual being.
With the actual footage. Because they had the footage.
Yeah.
But the second and the third one do not, to me. Like, you might feel differently, but personally, because of... I just feel like there was a lot of conjecture.
Yeah.
I feel like he was, like...
He did
inserting his own...
He is big, and they will, if you watch, they will point it out where he's like out on a balcony or somewhere talking, and they'll say Chad and his conspiracy theories again.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So he's a big conspiracy theorist. You know what I'm saying. Anyway.
I don't even try to I'm like, you know. You guys know. You know what she's saying.
You know what she's trying to say. With that said, though, he did say, it was funny because you could tell he did this before the election. Because then they were like, he also said that Trump was going to win this election, blah, blah, blah. Did that sound like Trump? Blah, blah, blah. Anyway, and that didn't happen.
We have all the best aliens.
They're the very best. I'm not going to tell you why, but they are. They just are the very best.
Because I know everything.
Because they are. We've chopped them up into little pieces, dissected them. Anyway, some of the stuff that he was saying.
They have very cool ways of doing this.
Very, very cool. They're very cool. I'm not going to tell you how cool, but they're really cool.
Yeah, they are.
Anyway,
people have told me. People say.
Yeah. Oh, they've told me. Who are they? I'm not going to tell you who they are. It's just they are.
People.
And they're very, very they're very bright people.
They're amazing.
Very bright, really bright people. Anyway, brighter than you, and
obviously we've had too much wine.
Yeah, are we making any sense right now? No. Okay, so anyway, but like there was one point where he was talking about they make these grays out of actual skin, but they're robots inside.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know.
There's going to be a fake alien war.
I don't know.
I mean, but then
like,
there were other things that they were saying, and I'm like, that I actually kind of know that's true.
Right.
But I mean, you would think I'm crazy, but that's because you don't talk to dead people like I do, or aliens. Hold on.
I wish you could see both of our faces.
Hold on, I gotta tune into my alien network.
No. Beep, beep, beep. Beep, beep.
I'm from the galaxy. Makaruka Baba.
The galaxy Macarena.
Okay. Anyway, go watch those yourselves, you guys. Hey, no. I challenge Philip to go watch those, all 3 of them, and give a review. And then you let us know. Yes, Philip, I challenge you. Hey, it's film. They're movies. Alma keeps trying to talk, and I won't let her. I keep talking every time she moves her mouth.
Just like
she wants to try and say, no, I don't think
the
that's
fact that it's film
Philip,
is subjective.
Philip, technically it is film.
Okay.
Oh my God.
His particular way of telling a story drives me crazy because I can't stand when people, like, if somebody says something, I just got goosebumps. I just got goosebumps. I just got goosebumps. And they play it over and over in an echo.
Yeah. Oh my God.
That fucking drives me crazy.
Good. Because it was
filler.
driving. I was like.
It's like filler.
Okay. So I'm like in my kitchen and I'm doing something. I can't remember, making my lunch or something. And all of a sudden I'm like, what is with these fucking echoes? Why does he keep doing that shit?
That's annoying.
Yeah. It's like, and he sure does like showing himself a lot on camera.
Right.
So you're right. He does like himself a lot. But that's what I mean. It's like he took this guy from Australia who wasn't originally like that. Mm-hmm. And then was like, dude, do you want to see how to really make some money doing this? Let me show you. This is what we're going to do.
Exactly.
I'm going to use your story.
That's what I feel about
That's what I think
2
he
and
did.
3.
Yeah, right. Because he did. He was like, oh my God. Okay, so they're like showing up at my door. Okay, they're chasing me. I was shot at. And
Okay, we really don't talk about that.
No.
Okay.
Okay.
So
yeah.
In 2, we did start talking about the fact that, like, after this guy shows up and gives them this packet of stuff, all of the sudden, strange shit starts happening to them.
Like the Australian
2 guys
guy
show up at his house.
at the Australian guy's house.
Yeah, at Craig's house.
And they have like a weird ass creepy smile on their face the whole time.
And they're okay, so this is what makes me think that
they're making it sound like
bullshit
Men in Black.
Was like, this movie will never be made.
There's not only did they make it, but 2 and 3 and 4.
Right.
And there's probably a 5th.
Exactly.
They're just gonna stretch this shit out as long as they can.
And number 3, the same iteration of the same kind of threats were happening.
Yeah, right.
But they still made the movie. And everybody's still fucking alive.
All right.
Nothing's happened to them.
No. They haven't been abducted.
Yeah.
They haven't had a probe up their ass. Although, wouldn't that make it? Hey, now why don't they just make that shit up?
And
just say
in number
that
3, Craig is supposedly transported from his living room couch when he's sick.
To that field.
To a field.
Right. And they do discuss all of a sudden his team, Craig's team, when they were doing their original investigation, they do notice that there's some time missing.
Oh, yeah. The time lapse.
Yes. And so that
they
only
do
happens,
show that.
Yeah.
They actually show the footage. And I think that actually
I do think that happened because I actually have had that shit happen to me.
But didn't you talk about that on the Queen Mary and one of the things where they like get in this little time?
Yeah. And again, I don't know if that's
like,
I did too. I did too. Look. Oh, I did too. And what I think that is like, remember we talked about it with the Bermuda Triangle too.
Right.
Like going through some kind of a portal type thing. It's almost like being
they lost time.
It's some kind of like a vortex, a portal of some sort where you walk through, you lose some time. By the time you get through the other end, an hour has gone by.
So they actually show the footage of the first, which they didn't show in the first one, which drives me crazy that they didn't actually. And you can't just go find this footage anywhere. The only place you can find it is if you watch. Yeah. So that kind of makes me like, I was looking.
Craig has these vlogs where he kind of breaks some stuff down.
Right.
And that's where I was like, you motherfuckers didn't talk about this, did you? Because that's because when you first sent me, I was like, well, come on, we do this shit on Bigfoot, because I said that to you. I was like, no, I mean, we do this stuff and this. I'm kind of convinced. And then I started watching his vlogs and I'm like, you didn't ask the American guy if you could do this shit, did you?
Right.
Because
that doesn't line up.
No.
Okay. So I just want to get back to the first one really quick before we jump into Jessie Shockley because we need to wrap this up soon.
Okay.
On the first one, I don't even know where I was going with this.
You lost time. You fucking lost time. There's aliens in here and they're manipulating our time.
Oh, okay. I know where I was going. Okay, never mind. So not Craig, not the Australian guy. Mm-hmm. Chad, the director, went on an actual ghost hunt with them. Mm-hmm. The first time he was in Australia with them.
Right.
And he goes into a room and he thinks he sees Craig go into another room. So he decides to follow Craig into that room.
I didn't see this.
Yeah, he decides to follow Craig into that room and it's not Craig. There's nobody in the room.
Whoa, what the fuck?
Yeah. So when we were talking about the shadow people, that was one of them. It was a big dude. So he, in his mind's eye, he was like, that's Craig.
Wait,
because
did I tell
Craig's
you when
a big
that
guy.
happened at my house? Yeah, I told you the story. Yeah. With my son and his friend.
Anyways, we should wrap this up because...
Okay, well, you all go watch this, all three series.
No Surface.
And Gray. The Two Grays and Phantom.
Two-Face, the Gray, and then the other one's called Skyfall.
What?
Skyfall.
No, it's called Phantom. Girl, I never even saw the name Skyfall in the title. It's Phantom. A Phantom Rider.
Phantom Rider.
Phantom Rider.
What? Where did I get Skyfall?
I don't know. Well, because that's the name that the guy used. But it's this, remember? See that?
Oh, he was calling the guy Skyfall.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. See this guy?
Phantom Rider. Okay. Sorry, Phantom Rider.
And you can watch him on Prime, or I watched it for free on Tubi? Mm-hmm. Tubi? Whatever. Tubi.
And Vudu. You can watch it on Vudu.
Vudu. Anyway.
You can watch it on your phone. I watched all three of them on my phone.
You did? Mm-hmm. Anyway. Okay, so Jessie Shockley. The anniversary, I hate saying that, of her death. Which I cannot believe it's been that long, because to me it feels like it just happened. But I have to say, her family...
10 years.
I know. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So she would be like having a driver's license by now.
Right.
That's insane. Anyway, her family said something really adorable. They were like, because I think, the people are like, don't you want to know where she is? And the whole time I'm screaming, I know where she fucking is. Like, what I really want is just anybody. I just wish I could be like, can we just take a cadaver dog? Anybody. And just, what do you have to fucking lose? You have nothing to fucking lose. Did I say this when we did the story that I called the police?
Yeah.
And told them
that
okay, so I said they were going to throw her in the trash, but they didn't. Then they have all these other psychics and people saying they put her in the trash and she's in the dump. So they spend days and days and days digging in the fucking dump. And I'm screaming, she's not at the fucking dump. They were going to put her in the trash, but they didn't. They wrapped her up in a blue blanket, what I thought was a blue blanket, put her in the trunk, what I thought, and then Spirit drove me to a place. And that's where I think she is, because I was driven out to that place a lot. Anyway.
I took you there. I can see how that place could be a place.
It's not far from the house.
Right.
And I didn't even know that place existed. I had no idea all my life of living here, and I had no idea that place existed until Spirit took me there. So all I'm saying is, and I called. Okay, so I'm just going to say this. I called and I left that detective a message. This is before everything was out.
Right.
And I said, I feel like she's being like tied up or handcuffed. She's like in a closet and I feel like she's hungry. I said, I'm going to tell you a bunch of things right now because I know you guys don't believe in what I do. This was after the second call. This was the second call. First I called him and I was anonymous. Second time I called and I just said, this is what I do. I'm going to tell you a whole bunch of stuff because at this point, not a lot had come out in the media yet. And so I'm like, I'm going to tell you this stuff. If any of it is true, I will hope that you will call me so I can take you out to where I I believe her body could be.
Right.
So I'm like, and I even called my mom because I'm like, I can't watch the news because she keeps hanging on to me. Mm-hmm. And I said, but I'm going to tell you this because if it comes out on the news, you're my validation that I wouldn't have known this because it wasn't on the news yet. So I'm like, I feel like she's like being locked up somewhere. And there were times I felt like she was in a closet. I knew she was hungry. I knew she was really weak. And I knew there was a final blow to her. Because I felt it. And I knew the night she died. And I also knew, I kept seeing like this big room where there was like just a mattress on the floor and a TV. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, so I don't know if like she was being held somewhere, if that's what her room looked like. I don't know. But I felt like a lot of times she was being gone without food. She was being stuck in a closet. Like she was imprisoned. Right. So I don't know if we talked about all this, but right now I'm like at this point. So I tell my mom this. I leave a message on a detective's voicemail because I'm like, you probably aren't going to call me back, but I'm going to tell you this stuff because I know none of it has come out yet, but I'm going to say everything she has made me feel. I'm going to say it. If none of it has come out and any of it matches her, then will you please just call me and let me just, what's it going to hurt? You have nothing to lose. Right. We could take cadaver dogs out there. It'll take 10 fucking minutes to clear it with cadaver dogs and be done with it. And then you can call me crazy and send me on my way. Mm-hmm. And I've got nothing to lose. You have nothing to lose. Right. Never call me. But then what came out on the news? All those fucking details. Seriously. I just heard it again today. Because I'm like, it's the fucking anniversary, and then it comes up on the freaking news that the anniversary,
right? Except for where she's at.
Except for nobody knows. So then the family is like, because the news is like, don't you want to know where she is? And they're like, we know where she is, which I loved this. She's with God, like, and that's true. Oh, I got chills. True. And that's true. She is. It's just, I always am like, if your body, your remains are supposed to be found so that your family, your loved ones, your brothers, your sisters can have closure, right? Like actually have a service for you and know exactly everything, right? Then let it be done, right? And if not, then fine. And that's it. So this thing bothers me all the time. The only reason it bothers me is because she tugs on me. Like she'll come to me. It's crazy. That's it. That's all I want to say. I think did you hear the microphone do something weird?
I just hear the dog snoring.
Okay. I don't want anybody to forget about this little girl.
We shouldn't.
No. We shouldn't forget. How about this? How about when we think of Jessie Shockley, we think about all the little kids that are being abused right this second, right now. We don't know all these kids. I think about this a lot. You have no idea if there's a kid in your neighborhood right now that's being locked up in a closet or beaten by their parent or shaken by somebody or the ones that are stuck in a hospital. So right now, how about when you hear this, you just send a little prayer to all those kids that are being mistreated. We'll let her memory be that. That's what I think. Praise God. Amen.
A prayer for those kids that are being mistreated.
Yeah, I just think
that abuse will be brought into the light and
memory for all those that are in the same place as Jessie.
Right.
That are forgotten. There's a lot that are forgotten. So, how about that? Then her soul, her memory means something more. Anyway, I don't know why I do know why this touches me so much. I asked for it. All right. Anyway. Okay. Well,
is that it?
Yeah. How about you? You got anything sentimental to say?
Nothing sentimental. I did want to talk about the Zodiac.
That also.
Yeah.
Holy shit. That's something else that happened.
Yeah.
Is it true? Or is it a maybe possible? Because I sent that to you, right?
I think it's a maybe possible. They think that they've identified the killer as Gary Post.
Yep, Poste.
Yep.
Yeah,
but
like they
apparently
actually
the FBI is trying to shut all that shit down right now. Apparently.
Yeah, like they actually think they got him this time.
So it was the Case Breakers. Are they the same ones that came up with the...
it's like I think I don't know if it's active and retired, but it's like ex-police officers is what I think it is.
Yeah. A team of specialists who have worked to crack a number of America's most high-profile unsolved cases. So, they think it is Gary Francis Post, who died in 2018.
Yeah. I was going to look up and see if there was anything new. Did you look it up?
Other than the FBI thing I just saw right now.
Okay.
I just saw a thing that says FBI shuts down claim Zodiac killer has been identified. So that was
case team says Zodiac killer ID'd, linking him to another murder. Yeah. A Yahoo News says FBI shuts down claims. And the Sun says Zodiac killer identified latest. Yeah. That was 57 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Gary Post revealed as serial killer suspect as a cold case, blah, blah, blah.
So we'll just keep watching that.
Oh, we'll keep you posted.
Yeah.
Just like, what is the other thing? Oh, what's her name?
That bitch.
Yes, let's call her that.
That bitch.
That crazy ass bitch. Who also hurts children, killed her children.
2 children.
Fuck, what's her name? Why can't I say her name? Because I don't want to, because it's evil.
Yeah.
Evil don't come out of this mouth. Lori. The Lori Vallow bitch. Anyway, so there was some... I have nothing for these assholes. You could tell we drank a half a bottle of wine each. There was more on her.
What's it?
Yeah. Oh, so now, okay, so I remember when we did this story.
Right.
And I remember saying, what the fuck? How did the Chandler fucking police not question her? How did they not? They questioned her, but how did they just like, yeah, it was self-defense. Okay, bye-bye. And then all of a sudden they're like, oh, we knew there was something fishy going on. Okay,
well, then why didn't you investigate first?
Yeah. Anybody else? Like, so I'm just going to say, some very good friends of mine were involved in a home invasion. Their home was invaded. Mm-hmm. And it was a woman on stuff. And of course, their reaction when glass is getting broken, start shooting. And they shot her. She survived. Everything's good. But they were handcuffed and put in the back of patrol cars and left there for a good 8 hours or longer while an investigation was being done.
Exactly. We see this all the time.
Right.
We see this all, especially, and I am sorry, but we see this all the time with people of color.
Now, let me just tell you, this was Phoenix PD. And in my opinion, that means Phoenix PD did their job. And I kept telling my friend, okay, don't be mad because they were just doing, that's the right thing to do.
Right.
They don't know. They're pulling up on a situation. They hear your story. There's a girl shot in the face. They don't know what happened. They have to investigate it.
But apparently that's not the case in every fucking crime, especially not with this one.
No, that is not the case in fucking Chandler, where they're like, there's a woman that's giggling after her fucking husband was murdered. And her daughter is like, this is what happened. And the wife is like, oh, my neighbors, what are they going to think of me? We don't find that strange.
That is fucking weird.
Right. Oh,
a man just bled out and died in your fucking house.
Your brother just shot him to death.
I would be like, if that happened to me, like
I'd be hyperventilating, shaking, trembling, whatever.
Dude, I'm shaking when I'm talking to cops when I'm not guilty.
Get pulled over for a ticket.
Yeah.
Now, wait a minute. Here's my thing. If this is where the cops, I don't get it. Like Judge Judy would have been like, you stupid motherfucker. Okay. So you had an escape. You had time to go into a bedroom. That means you had time to get away. But you went into a bedroom and grabbed a gun, and then you came back and you confronted this person and shot and killed them. That is no longer is that self-defense, right?
Right.
It's not motherfucking self-defense. It is only self-defense if you are in a situation. So let's say somebody's breaking into my house, right? They're banging on my door and they're breaking in my house. And I have a gun and I'm holding it. And they're like, and I'm like, if you bust through that door, I'm going to shoot you. And they bust through the door and I shoot them. That's self-fucking-defense.
Right.
But if you are my ex-husband, whatever, and my daughter goes and gets a bat, and then she has time, and I have time to take her for fucking chicken McNuggets or whatever, and then then my brother has time to like, hold up, I'm gonna go get my weapon, and then I'm gonna come back out here. You don't have a weapon. He had no weapon, but I'm gonna shoot you down dead, and I'm gonna get off innocent. That's not self-fucking-defense.
It's not.
So, Chandler Police Department, I'm sorry, I have all respect for all law enforcement, but...
You fucked up.
You fucked up bad. And now, she's doing this whole insanity bullshit, which I guarantee 100%. I feel like I'm preaching. I guarantee that
she's waving her arms around, folks.
Before any of this, I'm going crazy. Before any of this happened, her and Chad had this whole thing like, if you get caught, just plead insanity. This is what you got to do. And she is playing it to a hilt. She is like, she knows exactly what to do. She probably researched this shit. The woman had her children killed. For God's sake, she knows what to do.
Exactly.
Fuck, I need more wine and there's nothing left.
That bitch.
Oh my God. Oh my God. I'm very wired right now.
We should probably call it a night.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are done. I should be.
I think you just wore yourself out.
I should be like, hallelujah, praise God.
I'm gonna let you watch that. I might even just put that on our Instagram.
Why? Oh, you weren't just taking pictures. You were videotaping.
No, I was
me?
videotaping you
girl.
because I had to.
Oh, my arms.
Because you were flailing your arms.
Listen,
all right, guys.
I'm very passionate about what
we're almost at 2 hours now, so we're gonna call it a night.
Well,
thank you guys for listening. We hope you liked our story.
Our stories at this point.
Several stories. I kind of want to do the vulture mines on the next one because we're going to go down there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We're going to definitely be Instagramming and Facebook. We'll do some
stuff.
Some video stuff for you guys.
But anyways.
I'm Alma.
I'm not Carlene.
She wishes.
You know what? Sometimes I do.
She wished she could be in this head.
I don't know. Maybe not.
Not tonight. Not tonight.
All right.
Ethel.
Thank you guys for listening. We love you guys.
Love you.
We out. Good night.